He learned. And now, to say it forward, Mr. Kirk Chester Damasco.
I was recently fixing my books in the office because kalat na sila. And I think if you've fixed your library or your books, a thing that is very useful are bookends. And I've always been fascinated by bookends, how they hold things together, but how they also signal the start and the end of something. And speaking of bookends, I think this past 6 months, I've seen bookends at work when it comes to fatherhood. Not that I'm a father already, I'm not yet a father, but my closest friend, my best friend, just became a father last September. His daughter now is so cute, chubby, chinky, gigil. And the joys of fatherhood are so evident with him that he tells me, Kirk, it's so hard to leave the house in the morning. Or parang, I look forward to going home immediately. So, okay lang yan, wag naman ng trabaho, punta ka sa anak mo. That's okay. The bookend, the other side of the bookend is my dad, who just lost his father last January. My lolo would have been 88. But he lived a full life. According to my dad, there's only one thing that he wasn't able to do in life, and that is to win the lotto. He has been betting on sweepstakes, lotto, first two, ending, double, STL, for I think 30 years without winning significantly. Now these bookends about fatherhood made me reflect about my dad also, especially that Father's Day is coming. And I'd like to share with you perhaps three things that I've learned from my dad. The first one is one of the basic things that my dad taught me was how to tell the time. I think as early as 2 years old, 2.5, I already knew how to tell the time. And it would be our bonding moment. Kirk, what time is it? So, okay. And I think, speaking of time, it's something that he lacked and he oversupplied. What do I mean? When I was in grade school, it was the start of our business in the province, and he didn't have time for me talaga at all. He was so busy. He started the day at 3, ended the day at 11 or 12, wished that it were the morning na naman because from scratch eh. So he really worked so hard, fast-paced, that he didn't have time for me. His temper was so short then, he would spank me and discipline me. Okay lang naman yun. I forgive him. But he really was busy with the business. He was aware of it, that come high school, every single day, he would be the one to send me to school and to fetch me from school. As in, hatid sundo yan. Every single day. He didn't miss a day, I think. Even when he was sick, I think he was the one still who sent me to school. And when I was in college, in Manila, because I came from the province, first 2 weeks here in Manila, he stayed with me. He accompanied me to ride the train from end to end, MRT, LRT. We took the bus from Monumento to Pasay, Pasay to Monumento. He would be the one to decorate my dorm, to approximate how it would look so that more or less same siya sa bahay at hindi ako ma-homesick. Come Christmas time, may Christmas decors kasi same din daw sa bahay. May hotdog din akong unan kasi meron din ako sa bahay noon. May full mirror din ako, full body mirror kasi meron din ako sa bahay. So, I mean, when I was in grade school, my dad lacked time for me, but in college and in high school, he more than made up for it. Kasi sabi niya, the important thing is maging barkada mo yung anak mo, that you will be his friend, that he can tell you about anything and everything. So he told me the time, but he also made up for the quality of time. I think in Greek there's chronos and kairos. So I think my dad did a good job there. The second is he taught me so many life skills. I encountered this phrase just recently, and I think this was what my dad has been trying to do to me. There's this phrase called the poverty of affluence, meaning we think that people who are okay in life or well-to-do or affluent in life are in a great place because everything is within reach. But my dad doesn't believe in that because my dad believes in a healthy dose of adversity. He had the option before to send me to an exclusive school for grade school, but he insisted on sending me to the local town public school because he does not believe that yung common adage na yung hirap na pinagdaanan ko, ayoko siyang ma-experience ng mga anak ko. My dad did not believe in that. For my dad, sabi niya, mas maganda na may hirap na madaanan yung bata because that will make him and that will make him stronger later on. So I'm glad I did. I'm glad he did. Among the life skills that he taught me, pinagpapala ko niyan, pinagdadrive ako ng payloader, pinagbubukas ako ng buko, pinag-aayos ng tubo, tinuturuan niya akong gumamit ng vice grip, ng yabing tubo, ganyan. So those things. And I guess he just gave me the feeling that I am not helpless. He just gave me the feeling that whatever comes your way, comes my way, help is there, either because you know how to do it or you know how to ask for help for it. So life skills, poverty of affluence, there's value to hardships and difficulties. Finally, the third is, ironically, one of the best things that my dad has taught me is his imperfection, his life as an imperfect dad. I know this might be offensive or something which is not attractive to most of us. How can imperfection be a source of gratitude? How can imperfection teach you something? Well, I have come to realize that oftentimes we are too hard on our parents also, that we expect them to be supermen and women. But now that I'm at this age, my friends are getting married, they have children, I come to realize that it's so hard to be a dad. You have to juggle so much. You can only do so much. And at the core of it, you just have to trust that you have the best intentions for your family. So my dad is not perfect, definitely not perfect. But in spite of his imperfections, he loved me perfectly. So that's, I think, what matters. I appreciate him for that, for how he wants the best for me. Sometimes I don't agree with his methods, his ways, but you look at the heart. And the heart of a dad, the heart of a parent, no matter how good or how bad the parent is the good for the child. At the core of it, you have to believe that. Now, if you're still uncomfortable with the idea of an imperfect father, the great news for us Christians is there's a perfect father. A father who's perfect exists. A father who's not distant, a father who's not a concept, a father who's not out there, up there, beyond us, but a father whom his son called Abba, or Daddy, which is someone who's there, tangible, someone who's caring, someone who's loving. And that same Abba is continually inviting us to have a relationship with him. Now, Father's Day is here. We celebrate our dads, our biological dads. Most of us don't have biological dads anymore. Most of us have bad relationships with our dads for one way or another. But let our relationship with the perfect Father be our inspiration to heal and to bridge and to nurture our relationship with our biological father. Perfect love casts out all fear. Perfect love forgives. Perfect love covers a multitude of sins. And that perfect love is the same love that our Abba Father has given us. And hopefully with that, we can have a fruitful, meaningful, and a healed relationship with our biological fathers.